States. Daniel Politi is a correspondent at the Associated Press. He joins us live now from Buenos Aires. Daniel, thank you so much for being with us. You're seeing the peso plummeting. You're seeing prices soaring to keep up. Obviously, inflation is at unsustainable levels in Argentina. Argentina has obviously dealt with this sort of thing many, many times before in the past. What's unique about this particular time?
Thank you for having me. As you said, Argentines are no stranger to inflation. It's something more than a decade that we've been having double-digit inflation here, and people have been figuring out how to cope and trying to come up with strategies of how to cope. But this time, it feels different just because the rate is so high. As you said, 71%. Economists largely expect the rate to reach 90% by the end of the year, and some are even saying that 100% is not an unlikely scenario. So this speeding up of inflation is just something that many Argentines haven't seen in their lifetimes.
A lot of people, from what I mean, obviously you're on the ground there, but from what I understand, just sort of having read about this, a lot of people are resorting to barter, for example, and also just there are a huge number of people who are relying on basically hoarding as much of the U.S. currency as they possibly can. Just walk us through that.
Yes, it's just, you mentioned there's two flip sides of the same coin. On one side, you have the poorest members of society that are having incredible troubles making end meet, getting to the end of the month. I've talked to a lot of people whose salary only gets them to the 10th or to the 15th. And so for the last final weeks of the month, they have to resort to strategies that we hadn't seen since the 2001 collapse, when the economy here collapsed spectacularly, which are these barter fairs where people go and trade clothes that they may have in their closets for food, things like that. And then the flip side of that, there's people, maybe the more middle class people who have higher salary and they need to figure out what to do with their money. It feels like the peso burns in their hands. They need to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So there's a big capital controls on dollars. They can't buy as many dollars as they want. So they're just spending. There's a lot of spending going on. It's sort of ironic. You think of an economy with 71% inflation, you think crisis in the streets. But really, you go out in Buenos Aires these days and restaurants are packed, bars are packed, because any money that anybody has, they want to spend it as quickly as possible before it loses value.
That's fascinating. I mean, you know, it's quite hard, or it's been quite hard for economy ministers to figure out how exactly to handle this issue. And as a result, you have this pattern in Argentina where economy ministers get hired and fired. If they're not able to deal with the problem, if the problem gets worse, they get fired just like that. I think a lot of, or more than sort of almost 24 economy ministers have lasted less than 2 months. This particular economy minister, the newest one, has basically said that he's going to stop printing pesos in order to fund the Argentine budget. He's not going to do that anymore. How unprecedented is that?
Well, I mean, it's something that's very unprecedented, especially for this government, because this government had always purported that printing money did not cause inflation. So now there's new economy minister, which is the third one in the space of a month. As you said, the economy ministers go through really quickly sometimes here. He's trying a more orthodox policy. They have to meet some IMF quotas, and he's saying, all right, we're going to stop printing money. That is really unprecedented, and the question really becomes whether he's really going to be able to do it, because at the same time, as all this is happening, as you might imagine, there's a lot of demands from the poorest members of society for more welfare. So there's a big question of where's the money going to come from for these, for the people, for the poorest members of society who can't make ends meet, as we were talking about earlier.
Right. Daniel Politi, live for us there. Thank you so much.